What's going on, everybody? It's Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another monthly market report for the month of December. Keep in mind, even though it's December right now, all the information that we're going to go over is from the month of November. We do this so we have an entire month of data compiled together and so we have the most accurate information. I have some very interesting stats to go over that we're going to get to in a second. But new listings are down to 2019 levels. Pending sales are down to 2019 levels. Percentage of the original list price received, which is what percentage of the list price of a home are people offering, is in 2019 levels. The question is everything else gonna follow suit? Are the prices gonna start coming down to 2021, 2020, 2019 pricing? That we're actually gonna find out, and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. As always, if you have any questions for me, if there's anything I can do to help you, call, text, or email me anytime. But the market right now is very interesting. Now, granted, like I said, we're in December right now, so the market right now is slow. There's no doubt about it. Every single November and December, the market does the same thing. The market slows down. New listings drop, pending sales drop. I tell people a lot of times it creates some good opportunities for buyers out there because you can negotiate a lot more because there's a lot less competition. Come spring and summertime, we usually see that inventory go up. And as inventory goes up, the amount of buyers in the market also goes up. So there's slightly more competition. But if you've been paying attention to the market reports in some of my videos, I've told you all my theory on what is happening. There's so much happening right now with inflation and all this stuff. It's so hard to keep up with that it's not normal. That's exactly why I focus on Charlotte and the surrounding suburbs. I focus on the Charlotte market and not everything else because real estate is what I know. I'm not a finance guy. So what my prediction is, I predict that the demand is still going to stay relatively low to the supply. So interest rates are actually starting to come down a little bit, and the Federal Reserve said they're not going to keep rate hiking the way that they have been. So interest rates are coming down a little bit, but I still think there's so many buyers out there that are just waiting a little bit more and waiting a little bit more. And as we approach springtime, I feel like we're going to have a lot of sellers thinking that instead of listing their house maybe January, February, I think a lot of them are waiting until spring and summertime in order to list their house. But as I mentioned, I still think the demand is going to stay relatively low to the amount of people that are going to put their houses on the market. And that is what I think is going to cause our inventory to go up a lot more and finally put us in a decent place where we have a couple months of inventory. So there's a lot more houses out there compared to buyers, AKA the market getting better for buyers and us heading into a neutral market. Now, what I'm personally seeing, like I said before, complete 180. A lot of stuff is extremely negotiable. Repairs, extremely negotiable. Getting concessions, seller paid closing costs, extremely negotiable. One thing I want you guys to pay attention to, that I personally pay attention to, I'm seeing a lot of houses that have been sitting on the market with barely any activity for 30 to 60 days. I'm seeing those houses get withdrawn or temporarily taken off the market. And again, this brings me back to my theory about spring and summertime where we're going to have that inventory jump. There's a lot of people out there that took their house off the market due to the inactivity and that are thinking once spring and summer rolls around, there's going to be a lot more activity. Granted, there will be, but I don't think to the effect of what a lot of sellers actually think is going to happen. I'm curious to know your thoughts on what you guys think. And again, everything is crazy right now. Honestly, it's so hard to tell what's going to happen. You're going to see in some of these prices, our median price point, it's not really budging. Now, our average list price has gone down a decent amount. So what that is going to tell us is that, hey, sellers are starting to actually be a little bit more reasonable as to the price of what they're putting their house on the market for. Not all, a majority of them are still a little bit, delusional and aren't priced where they need to be to actually get it sold right now, but time will tell. So with all that being said, guys, let's hop into the stats. Let's take a look at these numbers. And I want you to pay attention. The fact that some of this stuff is coming back to 2019 levels is awesome. It's crazy to look at, especially with everything I've been through in these last 2 years. I'm so ready to get back into the market that it was when I started real estate roughly 5 years ago. And granted, it wasn't an easy market. Even at that time, it was still extremely hard, but these last 2 years really put me through the ringer. So I'm excited to get some normalcy, if that's a word, back into the market. With that being said, guys, call, text, email me anytime, any questions you possibly have. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this market. There's so many outlying factors going on. It's tough to keep up with. That's why I'm focused on the real estate, Charlotte and the metro area. But with that being said, let's get into the numbers with new listings. So in regards to new listings, we had 3,350 new listings in the month of November, and that is a 27% decrease from this time last year, and it's just under 800 less new listings than we had in the month of October. Now look at this. In 2020, we had plus 11.1% new listings. In 2021, we had plus 10.4% in new listings. And this year, we have minus 27% in new listings. These last 2 years, from 2020 all the way up until about 8 months ago or so, we really didn't have a slowdown. Even though it was November, December, things really didn't slow down because the prices were high. People were still overbidding. So people were putting their houses on the market. Now that, as I mentioned, things are starting to cool down, nobody's in a rush. A lot more people are just going to wait until spring and summertime instead of being in a rush and saying, hey, let's just go ahead and list it right now. Let's get multiple offers and let's get the highest price possible. Guys, 27% decrease in new listings. As I mentioned, normal for this time of year. However, we're back to 2019 levels. Now let's move on to pending sales. We had 2,868 new home sales pending, and that is a 36.1% decrease from this time last year. And it's just about 330 less home sales pending than we had in the month of October. And again, for the pending sales, look at 2020, look at 21, and then look at 22. 36.1% decrease. This is telling us that the buyer demand is down and the overall confidence in the housing market is down. So a lot of people are waiting on the sideline to see what's going to kind of unfold in these next 3 to 6 months or so. Now let's talk about something very important, which is going to be the average sales price and the median sales price. So the average sales price for the month of November came in at just above $443,000, and that is an 8.6% increase from this time last year, and it's just over $14,000 less dollars than the average sales price was in the month of October. So this is going to be very interesting. I think this is going to continue to slightly tick down. I still think we have a long way to go as far as prices coming down a decent amount, but this number should slowly be ticking down. And again, just look at 2021 and 2020. The gap is starting to close a little bit. Hopefully it closes a little bit more and gets us in a little bit of a better pricing situation. Now, I do want to mention this. As far as pricing goes, don't believe a lot of the stuff that you guys are hearing in regards to 30, 40, 50% housing correction. I personally do not see that happening. Realistically, I'm seeing about a 10% correction, probably at the max, in my opinion, maybe potentially 20%. But again, there's just so many variables to take into consideration. And unfortunately, we don't know anything. The government knows what its master plan is and what they want to do with housing. Now getting into the median price point, which came in at $381,000. This is an 8.1% increase from this time last year, and it's $1,000 more than the median price point was in the month of October. However, the median price point has been stagnant for the last 3 months. September, October, November, it's sitting at $380,000 as a median price point. So this is actually holding very strong. But if we happen to see the average sales price come down, eventually it's going to drag that median sales price down as well. But this is very interesting that the average sales price is having a lot of fluctuating, and the median sales price is staying kind of stagnant. But again, average sales price takes into consideration a wide range of home prices. Median sales price is just that, the median sales price. It's very important to pay attention to this, but right now it's sitting at $380,000 for the last 3 months. So let's see what happens in the coming months. Let's jump into days on market now, which came in at 34, which is a 61.9% increase from this time last year. A 61.9% increase from this time last year, and just 6 days more than the days on market was in the month of October. Pay attention. 2020 days on market was down 38.1% in the negative. 2021, we were down 19.2% in the negative, and we have jumped to 61.9% in 2022. We're starting to creep up again on 2019 levels on days on market. And again, why days on market is important. The more days on market, the better it is for buyers, the more negotiating power you have. The less days on market, the better it is for sellers, and usually multiple offers, and houses are just selling quicker. So that means there's a lot more competition out there. Very interesting stat, and you need to pay attention to this one as well. Like I said, we're starting to creep up on 2019 levels. Moving on to the percentage of the original list price received, which is another stat that is back at 2019 levels, which came in at 95.7, and that's a 4.5% decrease from this time last year. So what this is telling you based off of this stat is you can expect to pay 4.3% below the listed price of a home. Again, this is going to vary. With the market going through changes, I'm seeing a lot of sellers price their house accordingly, and those houses are selling rather quickly, some of them even with multiple offers. That is still happening in this market. But for the most part, this stat, I will say, is a lot more accurate now than it was before. And to be honest, some of the stuff that I've been able to do for my clients, I've been getting, roughly around this range, even a little bit more. And again, it just depends on the property. But the fact that we were up, we were above, everybody was paying above, you were paying 20, 30, 50, 60, 100,000 more for a home. And now kind of the stat is 4.3% below the listed price is definitely a breath of fresh air. Last but not least, months of inventory, which came in at 1.8, and that is an 80% increase from this time last year. An 80% increase from this time last year. Not quite yet, but we are creeping up to, again, 2019 levels of inventory. I'm very excited to keep my eye on this market. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in this market in the next 6 to 12 months. Join me, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and let's see where the market takes us. As always, if there's anything I can ever do for you, call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.